Here's what no one wants to say out loud. Something about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children just doesn't add up. And no, this isn't tabloid gossip or wild speculation. This is about official records, legal inconsistencies, and a growing number of unanswered questions that the palace, and perhaps the couple themselves, seem all too happy to ignore. It all starts with Archie's birth certificate. In the UK, like most countries, these documents follow a clear legal format. Full names of both parents are required. But in Archie's case, Meghan made an unusual move. Instead of using her full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle, she had it replaced with Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. On its own, that might just seem like a stylistic choice. Maybe she thought it sounded more regal. But then, just 11 days later, the certificate was quietly corrected. Not amended, corrected, as in legally altered. And that's where the red flags went up. Why erase your full name from your own child's birth record, especially when every other royal mother, from Queen Elizabeth to Kate Middleton, used their full legal names? It's standard procedure, except in Meghan's case. Then comes the real twist, Lilibet. While the press widely reports she was born in California, some sources point to Colorado instead, a state with very different surrogacy laws. Unlike California, Colorado allows for more flexibility on birth certificates, particularly around who is listed as the parent. When Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor's birth certificate began circulating, observers noticed something strange. Prince Harry wasn't listed under his legal name, Henry Charles Albert David, but simply as His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex. That's not just a technical error, it could have real legal consequences. In the US, titles don't carry legal weight. Whether you're applying for a passport or proving parenthood in court, what matters is your legal name, not your title. So why wasn't Harry's legal name used? Was it a simple oversight or something more calculated? Because if his name isn't on the certificate, he may not have any legal parental rights to Lilibet under US law. Meghan, interestingly, kept her full legal name on Lilibet's certificate, unlike what she did for Archie. Why the sudden change? And that brings us to the deeper speculation, the surrogacy rumors. According to growing whispers, Meghan may not have carried Lilibet at all. Instead, a young woman in Colorado, allegedly in her early 20s, may have served as the surrogate. The timing, the location, and the legal setup in Colorado all line up just a little too conveniently. Colorado law even allows the intended parents to be listed on the birth certificate without naming the surrogate. That would explain the missing information and the silence. Meanwhile, Meghan has publicly claimed to suffer from postpartum preeclampsia after Lily's birth, a serious and often debilitating condition. Yet just days later, she was seen in public, walking, appearing healthy and composed. And Harry? He was photographed playing polo in Aspen, Colorado, not long after. Would a man whose wife nearly died giving birth be back on the field, smiling for cameras? And let's not forget another oddity. The document shared with the press wasn't an official certified U.S. birth certificate. It was a certificate of live birth, a document hospitals issue before the actual state certificate is finalized. The final certificate, what legally matters, was never made public. Why? If this was all just a clerical mistake, it could have been fixed. A quick filing, a simple amendment, and yet years later, no correction has been made. It's almost as if someone doesn't want it corrected. The result? A legal paper trail that leaves Harry looking more like a stranger than a parent in the eyes of U.S. law, and a long list of questions the public, the media, and the monarchy continue to tiptoe around. Now let's talk about Archie, because his case opens even more doors than it closes. Meghan's decision to remove her own full name from Archie's UK birth certificate doesn't just seem strange anymore. It seems strategic. In most birth records, especially among royals, the mother's maiden name is included for clarity, legal recognition, and historic precedent. Meghan, instead, erased her full name and replaced it with nothing but her royal title. She later claimed the palace made her do it. But if that's true, it begs the question, why would the palace want the mother's name removed from her own child's birth record? This isn't a minor clerical change. These are legal documents. They define inheritance, succession rights, and parental legitimacy. Yet somehow, with both Archie and Lilibet, the paperwork looks oddly ambiguous. With one child, the father's name isn't legally correct. With the other, the mother's full name is absent. It raises the disturbing possibility that each parent may only have legal or biological connection to one child. That's not standard family planning. That's a legal chessboard. And then comes the twist, the one that flips this entire story on its head. According to a source close to the situation, there's now serious speculation that Harry might not even be Lilibet's biological father. At first glance, it sounds absurd. But when you look closely, the pieces begin to fall into place. Rumors have long swirled about a childhood medical issue Harry allegedly experienced, a hernia involving one of his testicles. It's never been confirmed, but if it affected his fertility, it could explain a lot, like why a surrogate might have been used, and why a sperm donor may have been involved. In the US, parental rights come from biology or legal documentation. And if Harry didn't contribute genetically and isn't named correctly on Lilibet's birth certificate, he may have no legal parental standing, none. Meanwhile, Meghan secured her role through her full legal identity. If there were ever a divorce, Harry might not just risk losing custody, he might not even be recognized as her father. And that may not be an accident. Some observers have even noted an emotional gap. Meghan appears warmer, more physically affectionate, and publicly attached to Lilibet than to Archie. Cold as it sounds, it may come down to biology. If Lilibet was created using Meghan's egg and a donor, while Archie's origins remain unclear, that maternal bond would be stronger and more personal. Now let's examine the timeline. Meghan claimed to suffer a miscarriage in July 2020. Days later, she was seen visiting a clinic, one that many assumed was for dental care. But this Beverly Hills facility is also known for luxury fertility treatments, and the small pouch she carried resembled the kind used to store ice packs after egg retrieval procedures. Her calm demeanor and rapid public appearance didn't match the trauma of a miscarriage. It looked more rehearsed. Even the so-called birth video of Lilibet, meant to show a touching family moment, felt off. No hospital masks, no pandemic protocols, no restricted access, despite California's strict COVID hospital rules at the time. It didn't look like a real hospital birth. It looked like a photo shoot. And here's the key question. Why are these inconsistencies not just present, but recurring? Legal documents that don't match the norm, health claims that don't align with behavior, public appearances that feel more staged than spontaneous. Every thread connects, and they all seem to weave a carefully managed, highly selective story, one designed to avoid scrutiny, to deflect, to hide something deeper. Because when your children sit in the royal line of succession, your secrets don't just matter, they become global. And if this story ever fully unravels, it won't just shake the House of Windsor, it could shake public trust in everything it touches.